What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Looks like there might be some quirks in the Clippers scheduling this year. Now, let's just start off by saying this. The Clippers, there was just about a year ago or so, there were a lot of talks about the Clippers, and their situation with back-to-back games and, all these things like this and, how they weren't winning, back-to-back games and, how they were having issues just with their scheduling in regards to being away from home. And I can remember Skip saying something about when they play noontime, they don't play as well. And when they play at nighttime or evening time, they play a lot better. The scheduling was against their favor. I'm here to say this now. I'm not really worried about none of that because this team, as I said before, is built for a championship. But just because they're built for a championship, it doesn't mean they're not going to go through hard times. So this year they got 15 back-to-backs. Last year they had 14. Now, honestly, I feel like that's putting a little bit, more pressure on the Clippers than what they had last year. It's only one more back-to-back than last year. But, still, the Clippers are going to have to prove that they're as good as they believe they are. And, in order to prove that, you got to go through the struggle. You got to go through, the nuances of the season. You got to go through all that. And the Clippers are going to have to go through that, and they're going to have to try to find a way to stay healthy doing it. Now, back-to-backs. Now, of course, that's always a tricky thing because the Clippers' best player in Kawhi Leonard, has been on record for not, playing back-to-backs. But I do believe it'll probably be the same thing going on this season, simply because, Kawhi's coming off an injury and everything, and you want Kawhi to be, as healthy as possible, and you don't want to, put too much on him. I understand that, sitting him out some games, so if there's some load management from Kawhi Leonard this year, I think it's okay. I think it's excusable more than any other season that he is, been a part of, simply because, like I said, I mean, he's coming off a partially torn ACL, and they have to be, as precautious with that as much as possible. They can't, they can't let nothing happen there. They got to be precautious, and they got to, let him feel his way back into the game and back into his rhythm, which over time that'll come. So I think that no matter what the Clippers schedule is this year, there is some tough teams, of course. Of course, they got the Lakers, they got the Nets, and all the teams you could think of. But at the same time, the back-to-backs, that can hurt the Clippers a little bit simply because they won't have Kawhi Leonard, for a lot of those games. But at the same time, they're kind of used to that because Kawhi Leonard has been load managing for some time now. So it's okay with them, really. And like I said, I'm going to say this. I did say in a few videos ago that I think the Clippers can, obtain the number one seed in the West or the number one seed throughout the NBA. But even if they don't, it really doesn't matter because the only thing that matters is what you do when playoff time come. And we all know if Kawhi's healthy, which I believe he will be, especially by playoff time, I believe the Clippers will definitely, take another step, because as long as you have a player like him, you're going to make a lot of good things happen because he's on the floor and he pushes players through his actions rather than, talking. So with that being said, if everybody follows Kawhi's lead and, stay even keeled, relax while you're out there, have fun, enjoy the moment, be in the moment, and, play as hard as you can, everything will be fine, because that's exactly how Kawhi Leonard plays. You know what I'm saying? He plays that way every time, and it's worked out for him on multiple occasions. And that's definitely notified because he's won multiple championships. So, I mean, like I said, it all matters what they do in the playoffs. The regular season, the season's going to be the way it is. The way the scheduling is looking so far from what I see, it's going to be a lot of a lot of meaningful games for the Clippers, a lot of big games, and the schedulers, the people who make the schedule definitely, made it for the Clippers, made it a little bit more competitive for the Clippers because, as I say, when you're that team looked at as projected to win a championship, those people who make the schedule and all those guys, those people, guys and girls, they want to make sure they want to see how great of a team you are. So I understand if they, put some quirks into, the Clippers scheduling and everything like that. It's understandable because everybody wants to see how great of a team they are and see if they can actually take it the distance going through a season, going through the aches and pains of a season and finding their way through and being the last team standing. It's all so great if you can, make it to that plateau and, make it all the way to the finish line. And I think the Clippers can. I really believe they can. I really like their roster. I do think, as I said before, they can add another big man to their roster. I think they need a little bit, maybe one more big man, a little bit more depth in the center position. But other than that, I think they're good to go. I think they're really, an astounding type team on paper. But at the same time, we got to see exactly how they gel on the court over time. Now, I think they will do fine during the regular season, as many games as they play together. But the key for the Clippers really is to play as many games as they can together during the regular season, whether it's back-to-backs or not. Now, I know Kawhi is going to rest, as I said, and I know Ty Lue and them is going to, be easy with Kawhi and everything like that, and that's exactly how they should be, rightfully so. But at some point in the season, if Kawhi is showing that, he can handle it and everything is going okay, everything's going good, he's feeling up to the challenge, you need to let him play a little bit more or at least a few, back-to-backs. So, he can get acclimated with his rhythm a little bit more and get more in tune with the team because, it's like I said, it's a lot of young guys on this team. And there's some guys on this team, of course, veterans that he hasn't played with as of yet because, he's been out all last season or the players weren't on the team last season the last time he played. So, with that being said, it's imperative, I think, for him to get some of those games in, get some of that under his belt. You see what I'm saying? And get acclimated with his rhythm a little bit more once again. Because once he gets his rhythm, I think it's all over for everybody else in the NBA. As long as everybody else on the Clippers can stay healthy, along with Paul George and the rest of them. You got Reggie Jackson. You got John Wall. You got Luke. And you got T-Man coming off the bench along with Brandon Boston Jr. Their team is really stacked. So I understand, like I said, they got some difficulty in their schedule, but we're not really concerned about that. I don't even think the Clippers are concerned about it at all. Like I said, the schedule is what it is. You take it for what it is. You play all the games you can and get ready and gear up for the playoffs because that's exactly when the Clippers are going to be watched even more when the playoffs come because they're actually looked at as a team to win the championship this upcoming season. Well, people really going to keep a closer eye on them when the playoffs come. So I'm not really worried about the scheduling, if you want me to be honest. Like I said, there's going to be some up and downs in the schedule. There's going to be some losses. There's going to be some wins. The Clippers might go through a little losing streak during the season with their schedule. It's okay. It happens. I don't care. Championship teams went through a few losing streaks in the season, but they found ways to rebound and they found a way to gel by the end of the season going into the playoffs with that momentum being hot, and it favored them and they found a way to win. And I think as other teams have done that, I think the Clippers can mimic and do the same thing. So as I said before, hopefully health is on the Clippers side, and if that's on their side, everything else will take care of itself, and you will possibly, definitely, or should I say more likely, see the Clippers win the championship, or bare minimum, as I said, bare minimum make the finals. But I truly believe they could win it all if healthy. So I'm gonna stick with that notion. You should too, if you're a Clippers fan, and we'll see what happens and we'll see how everything pans out. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check out my other videos if you haven't. And hey, Khaliis out.